So eventually your luck's gonna run out. You're gonna be driving at night, getting a turn lane on a 4-way divided highway, and hit what is probably a piece of metal, put a big gash in the tire, and it's flat. So now we're in the parking lot of Crackle Barrel, trying to lift the car up enough to get the wheel off.
Having to raise the freaking front.
Yeah, raising the front to get enough clearance on the back for this jack to get underneath there, because with the flat you lose probably a couple inches of clearance.
My advice, buy the roadside kit. What's the name of that company you said?
Modern Spare.
Yeah,
I'm gonna order one, but they're...
Even if you don't keep it in the car, just keep it at home and we can go get it.
Or take it on trips, yeah.
Yes.
But I went to look it up last night, and if I ordered one now, I think it's like October 18th today.
Yeah.
We wouldn't get it for another month and a half. So we probably should have ordered that before we got the car. But if you have the kind of luck that I do, which I've actually never had a flat tire before, but definitely consider getting the Modern Spare. It comes with a jack, and I'm sure if we order that, we'll be doing a video on that. So, I'm on my way back to the vinyl shop again. I think it's been 2 weeks since we got some of the work done. He's got the white end for the door handles, and I have the paint chip repair kit. We're going to see how that does. It's got to be better than something you pick up at AutoZone. And so we're going to see how that goes today. We've had some unplanned adventures. We've already bought a new tire for the car. So that was interesting. I've been real careful. We don't have a paved driveway. Again, we don't garage keep the car either. So it takes me a little longer to drive up and down the driveway. We have a very long gravel driveway. We had some gravel added and had a friend of ours come level it out for us, which made a big difference for this car. It helps. I was real nervous about the tires and getting those paint chips. So we're good on the front of the car, the front bumper. But there, I discovered after the car had to sit in the Crackle Barrel parking lot for 2 nights, I got home and I had a little scratch about that long. And it's just gray underneath on that rocker panel. I haven't seen anything anywhere else. I keep doing the waterless wash and wax every few days or so. But those rocker panels, I don't know what the deal is. I mean, if we don't cover them, I feel like all the paint's going to be gone inside of a year. I don't know if anybody else is having that kind of an issue with that. We might have to look into it a little further. But anyhow, despite all that, I still love the car. Still going to be careful with these tires. I had made a joke, I think within 24 or 48 hours of us getting a gash in the back driver's side tire. Yeah, wait till we got to replace these. That's gonna hurt. Ka-ching! But we got the tire, and as usual, it was a funny story. I did some research a couple years back on I don't think it was a Tesla forum, but somewhere on the internet. There's somebody in Huntsville in 2018 that has a red S, I think. Maybe it was a Model 3, I'm not sure. But anyhow, they had some glowing recommendations and reviews for this tire center. And it's about an hour or so away from us, but he got up early, went to the gym, but he had to be hours in the other direction. He had the tire, the wheel, whole wheel and the tire, the lug nuts, and he dropped off the wheel and the slashed tire, not where I thought he dropped it off. Long story short. So I was at work anyhow. So I was only about 30 minutes from this main strip of commercial area with a bunch of retail. And I was kind of aware of all the tire discounters, discount tire this and tire that. There's so many of them along there. And so he even dropped me a pin on the phone to the one that I said, hey, let's take it here because they're familiar with Teslas. Maybe they'll have, that it's probably our best shot at them having one in stock. So he sent me a pin, and so when I got off work, I put it in my GPS, and of course I was in the Buick because this car was sitting in a Cracker Barrel parking lot, an hour and 20 minutes away. And I use my phone to navigate there. I go in, I say, hey, yeah, my husband dropped off a tire this morning. I'm just here to pick it up. Explain the details. So the guy goes back into the shop area, and he's like, I'll look for it. I stood around for a while waiting, and he comes back out. He says, yeah, no, we don't have that tire. He's like, it could be, and to his credit, he was kind of helpful. He was like, there's tire discounters down the street, there's this other one, maybe that's where he took it. And I said, thank you for your help. I'll give him a call. I'll try to find out track down this tire. And I knew that he was in a meeting at the moment, so I couldn't call him. I just sent him a text, hey, call me when you get a chance. Then I was like, you know what, forget it, I'm already here. I'll just start calling places. What's it gonna hurt? So I called the place a little further down the street, and they said, no, we didn't have it. But I remembered that my husband had sent me a text in the morning saying, hey, just ask for, I think his name is Jason. And I said, well, do you have anybody named Jason that works there? Because I said they didn't have it. And I said, oh, no, but I think he's at our other location over here. And I said, okay, well, I'll give it a shot. I'll call over there. And he's like, I actually think he's over there today. And so I called. He gave me the number. I called them. And the guy behind the counter was joking after I explained the details. And I'm just looking for this wheel and this tire. He said, nope, doesn't sound familiar. We don't have it. And I started laughing. I was like, okay, well, I'll just keep trying. He was like, I'm just kidding. We got it. So for a little while there, I was like, I have a really nice car. I love my Tesla Model 3. I can't drive it with 3 wheels. So we get the wheel and the tire in my trunk, which is surprisingly lighter than I thought it would be. I could have lifted it, but I asked them to help me get it in the trunk of the Buick, and they put it in there for me. So I made the trek down to where the Tesla was, and that was a crazy lifted truck. Wow. So anyhow, I drove down to Tesla, and I garnered a couple of parking spots next to the side we needed access to get the tire on. And my husband was running late. He got stuck in traffic, so I sat and waited another hour waiting for him to get there because I couldn't put it back on without the lug nuts. So I got the tire out of the trunk and kind of got everything sectioned off and everything I could that I could get ready for him. So when he got there, because we'd had a couple of long days after the tire debacle. 2020, what a year, right? So he finally showed up in the truck with the lug nuts and everything that we needed. Got the tire on. It didn't take long at all, or the wheel back on. It didn't take very long. So then we drove the truck and the Tesla back to the house because I needed to plug it up. So got the Tesla plugged in, changed clothes, got a little more comfortable after work, and drove back down to town to pick up my Buick because we're in the process of finishing a tiny house, our second tiny house. And we had the flooring guys come out early last week, or the week before. Anyhow, I had to move a bunch of stuff around, and I put what I could in the storage shed, I put what I could in my storage loft, and there were a few things left that, I didn't want them to have to be moving stuff around and trying to do gymnastics over a bunch of bins and pieces of furniture, little folding chairs. So I threw the rest of it in the Buick, thinking I don't have to drive the Buick. Oh boy, but I it probably would have been fine, but I just didn't want to leave a Buick sitting in the corner of a parking lot overnight like that with a bunch of stuff in it. I didn't want to have to pay for a broken window on that car on top of everything else. So, I mean, I was in nervous wreck just leaving this car in a parking lot, even though that was kind of out of necessity. But yeah, it was in the we ended up in the Cracker Barrel parking lot, kind of right in front of the turning lane, where we evidently ran over a piece of metal that gashed our tire open. So what happened was, it was at night, and I kept asking. He was with me. I said, "Did you see what that was?" Because you just felt a thud, you know, when you run over, like when you run over a piece of roadkill or something small on the road that you can't avoid. And you know, I was like, oh well, you know, I've been trying not to run stuff over. Maybe you know, I didn't think anything of it until we had turned to go through a drive-through. I wanted to get me some caffeine. Again, we've had a lot of long days leading up to all this, and so I pull up and I order. We get around where. When we stopped, it must have been just right where we stopped, ahead of the drive-through window. I had the window down, and I just heard this gushing sound. For the second time that day, actually, a little bit different, slightly different, smaller tire in the afternoon, but you could just hear the pressure coming out, the air being pushed out of the tire. And then the doot-doot came up, and the tire pressure card came up, and it went from black to red, and it was dropping rapidly. It was like, okay, well, we need to get out of here. There was a gas station across from us. No air. They had a vacuum, no air. So then I had to cross the same road with the turn lane to another gas station that's next to Cracker Barrel. They had air. We put air in the tire. No, and it wasn't really going to do much good because it was going to just come right back out. But it just got enough in there for me to get into a parking spot kind of out of the way in the Cracker Barrel parking lot. My brother-in-law was like, yeah, you probably don't want to leave a Tesla in a gas station parking lot right where they fill the tanks right behind it. I was like, I'm not leaving it here. So, Cracker Barrel, thank you. We finally got our car out of your parking lot. Sorry for the inconvenience, but we really appreciated them reassuring us that it would be okay. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend leaving your Tesla in a gas station parking lot for 2 nights. I don't think that's a very good idea. I think I've had my first coal roll. I've had some, like that lifted truck that went by, I've had some of these guys be a little aggressive, but you know, nothing ridiculous or over the top. Everybody has their opinion. So, you know, I like my electric car. It's quiet, it's fast, it's clean. But it did make me realize, hey, we just had to dispose of a tire within the first month of owning this car. So, I mean, it's still not completely perfect, but you know, what are you gonna do? You gotta have the tires on the car to make it go. So, it ain't perfect, but who's perfect?